One of the questions that I always get asked is, Armando, what are you doing for audio? Your sound is amazing. So today what I want to do is share some of my ideas, some of the things that I've done to help improve my audio throughout the many years that I've been doing YouTube. So the very first thing that I like to do, and I think that you should do too, is you have to sound treat your room. That is probably one of the most overlooked items that I see a lot of people don't do. You can have the most expensive microphone. You can have the most expensive recorder, but if you're not sound treating your room, it's still going to sound like crap because there could be a lot of echo, there could be a lot of different things that are going to degrade the quality of the sound. So sound treating is not the same as soundproofing. Soundproofing is completely different. It is very expensive compared to sound treating. We just want to treat the sound. We want to make sure that we get rid of some echoes and just help improve it. So the very first thing that I did to help this is I went to my local Lowe's or Home Depot, it doesn't really matter, and I picked some of this stuff. This is actually, I think they call this like styrofoam or foam board. I don't really know the exact name, but it's about 2 inches thick and it comes in a very large piece. So right over here, I have a bunch of stairs that lead all the way to the bottom floor. This area in particular is like an echo chamber. It is so loud, very echoey. So what I wanted to do was completely seal this off. So I took some measurements, and then what I did was I gave it to the guy over at Lowe's, and he cut the foam board to the exact dimensions that I needed, which was kind of cool. So then I headed over to Amazon and I bought some acoustic foam that looks like this with some spray adhesive. So what I recommend that you do is you take this side, because there's two sides. There's one that has some reflective material, and then there's this other side that is all white that you can use as a bounce board, which we'll talk about in a second. So what I did was I took some spray adhesive and then I sprayed it onto the acoustic foam, and then I placed it on the back of this. Now, what this is going to do is give me two things. Number one is I can use this now as a bounce board, which I've done, and I actually have a couple. There's one right in front of me, so that I can use this to kind of bounce light back at me. So that's kind of cool. And then on the other side, which I have over here, is I have the acoustic side, or the acoustic foam side, that I can also use as a black flag. So what that means is you see this more darkness area than over here. This is more brighter. I like to create this sort of contrasty look. So I don't need to flag it anymore because now the acoustic foam is doing that. It's black. It's going to create this negative fill that now is also serving another purpose to create better audio. Genius, right? I know. You can give me credit later. But anyway, another thing that I'd recommend that you do is you put some gaffer tape around it. So I bought 2-inch gaffer tape, and then what I did was I sealed it something like this, because what ends up happening is if you don't do that, when they cut it, it starts to flake and you'll have a lot of little pieces around your house or your studio. You don't want that. So if you gaffer tape it, it looks much cleaner, it looks a little bit more professional, and then you won't have any of this stuff flaking off. Now, once you have your boards all ready to go, with this pretty much glued on, you are pretty much now ready to create your little sound booth. And what I recommend is try to have your boards as close as possible to the microphone. And again, this is just the way it's worked for me. I know other people might have their own techniques and stuff. So like for example, I have one here, I have one there, and I have another one here. You obviously can't see it. That's the whole purpose. This is my A-roll. It would be awkward if I just completely enclose it. Obviously the sound might be better, but then you won't have that cool background. So once you get this all kind of enclosed, almost like in a sound booth, your audio is going to sound much better. Now I have a shotgun mic up here. It's the Sennheiser MKE 416. And what I do is I always like to mount it up above, and then I like to kind of point it right at like my chest area. Now somebody told me this, and again, I've done a lot of different techniques. Everybody has their own style and method. For me, this seems to work the best. They told me that you have to position it right here in like the chest area. It has this nice deep sound, and so far it's worked. There's other people that say point it on your forehead or point it down below. It really doesn't matter. The best thing to do is try it out for you, see what works best for your setup. For me, I found that actually that works the best. You don't have to use a crazy expensive microphone either. I've done a test where I take this mic over here, which is like $100, and I pit it against the 416. And it's so minimal, especially in a controlled environment, that you don't really have to go out and spend a ton of money on a microphone. You can still get amazing sound with this. Remember, the most important thing is treating your room, which is what we're doing here. Now, with the Sennheiser mic, if I want to get the best quality, I won't pipe it directly to my C200, even though it does have some really great preamps. What I'll do is I'll connect that to my Mix Pre 6, and that's gonna give me the best sound quality that I can get whenever I'm doing A-roll. Now, I'll do a video on that later down the road because I just recently picked that up. That thing is awesome, so be on the lookout for that video because that thing is also a recorder that I'm gonna use on the go. So hopefully these tips and tricks help improve your audio. Again, it's all about trial and error and see what works best for you, but I can tell you for a fact, treating your room is going to make a drastic difference. I'll leave links to everything I talked about down below in the description. Some of the stuff you're just gonna have to go to your local hardware store to pick it up, but for the most part, like I said, I'll leave links on those. If you guys wanna see behind the scenes, follow me on Instagram at MondoBytes. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.